Well, 2016 has begun with a bang, if you want to use that expression, but not the type of explosion that we would have wanted. That's after estate agent Penny Sparrow sparked massive backlash due to her racist comments posted on her Facebook profile. On Monday, Sparrow was interviewed by my colleague Metro FM DJ Fat Joe via First Avenue, and this is how that conversation went. It is an audio clip, so do bear with us as we listen in on that conversation.
41, 19 minutes to 8, Metro FM is where you're at. This is the First Avenue Fat Joe sitting in for the entire Avenue team. Call us on 089-110-3377 or send me a tweet at The Real Fat Joe or at Metro FM SA. I think we should try and call this woman again.
Yeah,
what do you think, Owen?
maybe she's awake by now.
Penny.
Yeah, maybe they reconnected her number.
Well, no, I got another number for her.
Did you?
Yeah.
Hello.
So you've got ways and means.
She thinks she's slick. Okay, Sanela, call that number, man. Call that number. I want to hear from the horse's mouth who she thinks is a monkey. You know what I mean? Hey?
They're going to show her.
You must embrace your monkeyness.
Sanela, what's going on?
Yeah, Sanela, don't tell me they blocked that number too. Wow.
There we go.
All right. Racism. It's alive and well, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's kicking. It's got names and...
It's growing hands and legs.
Yeah, it's telling people not to go to the bed.
Okay,
Penny Sparrow, hello.
Hi, Penny.
Yes.
How are you? This is Fat Joe, Zama, and Owen Honey on Metro FM.
Metro FM?
Yes, you know the radio station?
Oh, the one for black people, right?
What?
How did you get my number?
Listen, we have our ways. You disconnected your other number because clearly you couldn't deal with the heat. You have your views and your opinions, and now you're having a backlash, and you cut your number off, basically. So we got your other number.
People are clearly overreacting. It's just really, all just going completely ridiculous.
What do you mean people are overreacting? You call black people monkeys. What do you mean black people are like monkeys?
Well, I mean, why are you all so overreactive about this? It's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, there are lots of kinds of monkeys. Sure, maybe if you're a baboon, that's a negative one. But just the cute little monkeys that you see in zoos. You know, I even take peanuts and feed them. I feed monkeys. I love monkeys. Why can't you be a monkey that I love?
So hold on. So I'm a black man. I'm a monkey. Is that what you're saying?
Really? You don't sound black at all.
Wow.
That's surprising. Were you educated?
Were you educated, Joe? Were you?
I don't even want to dignify that with an answer.
Listen, you speak very well. It's a compliment.
You speak very well, Joe. Okay?
Penny.
You speak very well, okay?
I'm sorry.
All right, of course, that was not an isolated incident. Let's get a little bit of context on a whole lot that has been happening of late, and that is why that we've decided to have this debate, because it is an issue that is simply not going to evaporate and go away on its own. So let's take a look at the story that my colleague put together, just tracking some of the other incidents that happened. A gentleman from Fearon was one who weighed in. You'll know the economist Chris Hart. He's come to this show quite a number of times. He also came into the fray, and a number of other people. So let's just put it into context and take a look at the recent goings-on.
A comment spurring an unprecedented backlash. The ANC joined by black professionals and even DJs laying criminal charges against Sparrow and Hart.
We decided to come here today individually and collectively to come and lay a charge of criminal injuria and incitement to violence to a number of persons, not only to Penny Sparrow. There are a number of other persons who have made similar statements in the past, which in our view, I think, are an incitement to violence in the country. South Africa has never been so racially polarized.
For us as a Progressive Professionals Forum, we have a serious problem with a kind of racist and insightful utterances by Chris Hart, and also seconded in the social media by Duncan McLeod. We think that utterances that seek to suggest that black people have got some kind of an entitlement, the utterances that say that black people are now hating what he refers to as the minorities, We think that's got a potential to further polarize the country.
The ANC wants to go a step further. It's calling for specific legislation to criminalize any act that perpetuates racism or glorifies apartheid.
We have seen the rise in acts of racial bigotry. Our black South African being called monkeys and other racist epithets. We are saying as the ANC in Parliament that it's about time that we relook at the current provision in the law to deal with such kind of racist accidents and glorification of apartheid. And we are saying that it's about time that we reconsider, we reevaluate, we amend the current existing legislation.
Human Settlements Minister Lindiwe Sisulu has met the Estate Agency Affairs Board, ostensibly to probe the possibility of having Sparrow's license revoked. The Human Rights Commission is also investigating her comments. It could lead to formal legal steps if her comments are deemed to infringe on the human rights of black people. The Black Business Council says it will be seeking urgent meetings with chief executives of Standard Bank and Javits, Sparrow's former employer. Standard Bank has since suspended Hart. Tumalo Mkhize, SABC News, Johannesburg.
A very interesting piece there from Tumalo, and thank you very much to him for that. Well, this morning we are bringing you a special debate here on Morning Live. As you know, over the last few days, and as I've just mentioned, there's been a huge uproar over the Penny Sparrow comments, calling people, or black people to be exact, monkeys. It has since snowballed. A number of people have come to the very commenting, then apologizing, radio DJs, you name them. They've all come through expressing one opinion or another. So let's thrash out the details now. In studio, I'm joined by, I'm supposed to have three political parties, but I must just add the ANC Youth League's spokesperson, Mlondi Mkhize, is supposed to be with us. I think he is slightly delayed, has sent through apologies there. He'll join us a little bit later. We do have otherwise in our Cape Town studios, Phumzile Van Damme, who is the DA's national spokesperson. A great big thank you to her for joining us, as well as the economic freedom fighters of Benz, Mabengwane. He is also a representative of the NWUSRC as the President General there. So let's begin with the lady and gentleman that we do have with us in studio. I'm going to ask you to first give us your opening comments and tell us what you make of all this that has been going on.
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. I think it has been quite some time. We have been hearing these things in South Africa, and actions have not been taken at all. That is why at this time, as the EFF, we are calling for criminalization of racism. What we are seeing is an element of white supremacy, those who believe that we must negotiate for a space in our native land. Today, when I go around in South Africa, I feel like a pariah in the land of our natives. And that becomes a challenge. And when this matter is not being dealt with accordingly, it's going to lead this country to a serious massacre, where we're going to have now fights on the base of race, where we're going to encourage racial intolerance. And it's something that we must be able to deal with as leaders decisively. We must challenge Parliament where we're sitting today. We must challenge our people, our public representatives who are sitting in Parliament, that they must make sure that they pass laws which are going to speak and stand against racism in South Africa. We are now 22 years in democracy. We can't be expecting this to be taking place. By the way, racism in South Africa is institutionalized. White monopoly capital is protected at all costs. When we look at what is happening today in the country, we have seen Barnard went out to utter racial statements, suspended in DA, expelled in DA, but maintained and kept in a public institution in Parliament, where it's supposed to be taken out, because we can't accept and tolerate that. Today we've got Sparrow, came out, indicate to us that we're monkeys when we're in our own country going to enjoy ourselves. What is that? Why are we dealing with that? In a Northwest University in Potchefstroom campus, we've got our own brother who was drowned to death by a white person, a white student, through these initiatives, initiation processes, and he died. No one was held accountable. Not only that, we had the Nazism taking place in the same Potchefstroom campus. No one was held accountable about that. So even today, there's a student who defended himself by the name of Pofolo against a white African boy who used a K word on him. And after defending himself, he was then suspended. He was not even brought before the DC by the university. That is the kind of supremacy that we have in South Africa.
Thank you so much for that. You brought in the Democratic Alliance when you mentioned Diane Kohler-Barnard. Let's bring in now Phumzile Van Damme from our Cape Town studios. A very good morning to you once again. What do you make of the recent goings-on in South Africa?
Morning, Ayanda. I think, like all South Africans, the DA was absolutely disgusted and horrified by Penny Sparrow's comments about black South Africans. That is why we have now laid criminal charges of criminal injuria against Penny Sparrow for infringing the dignity of all black South Africans. We are a party that stands absolutely against racism, and if any of our members are found to have, shared Facebook posts that espouse racist views, we will take action against them.
All right, thank you so much for that, Phumzile. We have received the opening statements now. We're going to take a short break and take a look at the news headlines. But thereafter, I would like to get into detail with regard to what Benz has just mentioned, the handling of the Diane Kohler-Barnard matter and whether or not she should have been kept as a member of parliament, a public institution, and whether or not that does representative institutionalized racism. But at the same time, I also want to take a look at whether or not we can expect a young democracy such as ours to be completely free from racism, especially if you look at what's happening in the US. A democracy as old as theirs is still facing race relations. Those are some of the issues that we'll get to in just a moment. But first, let's quickly take a look at what's happening in your news headlines.